Planeta Patineta episode. I think we're like at 8. I'm not sure.
If it's
I'm not
8,
keeping count.
That's insane. Because if it actually is number 8, that's insane. And we'll talk about it, but
yeah, we gotta double check. I don't keep count at this point. I know Noe and like Eric, who helps me out with this, probably knows the exact number, but I don't keep track. I'm just like moving through the list and like trying to provide the best interview possible.
Dude, yeah, you're killing it. Doing a great job. Yeah.
Cool. So thanks for watching. If you're all watching us on YouTube, we're also on Spotify and on Apple Podcast. If you're like driving to work or whatever. But I have a really important guest, really special guest and important person. Naomi. I don't even know your last name.
You know
I'm like,
my full name.
Nay Sade.
Yeah, well, it's Naomi Sade Dupree. That's my whole name.
Go.
Naomi Dupree.
People want to know your last name. I kind of like the mysteriousness of like not knowing someone's last name.
Same.
It's just Nay. It's not
just
Naomi.
Just Nay. That's been like an ongoing thing that I've been like, I've kind of shortened it to just Nay, because I used to like, my old Instagram was Naomi.Dupree, so everyone knew me as my full name, and then as time went on, I'm just like, just Nay.
Yeah.
Keep it short and simple.
I love it, yeah. It's just, short and simple. So, I'm so excited for you to be here.
Thanks, man.
First of all, first time I saw you, I was like, who is this beautiful angel? Like, who is she? I'm sure everybody's like, who is this person with this much energy coming out, like, doing tricks? And I feel like I've seen your progress too since I was just starting hanging out with you. And you're putting in that work. On top of that, you're working at Supreme. So let's start at the beginning. Tell us. Oh wait, we're gonna do that segment first.
The segment first.
I had seen you advance and I was like feeling myself, and I was like, I'm gonna do like a little edit for Vans. And I saw you and I asked you, what's in your bag? We did a little fun video. So we're gonna do an official what's in Nay's bag? Yeah, and you can tell us what you carry around with you on your go-to, or like what you carry in your bag when you go out versus like your skate bag, or is there like a difference?
Man, it's crazy. Like when we did it at House of Vans, I just got that purse from the beauty supply store.
Such a cute purse.
I was so geeked about that freaking purse. I never like wear it out anymore because it's like fur and it's hot and stuff, but I was so geeked. So when you came up and asked me, I was like, this is perfect. But it's the same type of thing because I just got this bag. This is my new favorite bag.
Is that a Supreme bag?
It's a Supreme bag, yeah.
That's so cute.
We actually have these in the store right now.
Nice.
It's like mesh. They do a lot of cheetah print. I don't know, like especially with their accessories. Like, I'm cheetah printed out all the time. So I don't know. I loved it. I immediately had to grab it. But I was like, it's mesh, so you can kind of see kind of what's in it, which I kind of like too. All my stuff is mostly pink, so it just like makes it even cuter for me. Yeah. But my skate bag usually will have this bag, and then like my skate shoes, my brace, water, and that's pretty much it. Everything that's important is in here in like the small bag that I keep in my big bag. And I always have a big old bag.
So we're gonna know what your love language is basically, and what's important to you.
Pretty much. Well, what's important? Important to me for me. Yeah. This is like how I keep myself.
Self-love.
Yes, this is my self-love bag. Yes, that's exactly what it is.
And feel free to like tell us little side stories about like, where you got that, what's it from, why is it special.
I'm gonna do this after. This is basically, we'll do this first. This is basically just my makeup bag. I've gotten like my routine down like a good 10-15 minutes, but because it's hot, especially now, I keep like all the stuff I use on me. So I got like my beauty blender, my lip gloss, my blush, like all my little brushes. You got to keep the edges on point, so I got the little edges with the edge control. Like, it's just, I can't be out here lacking. That's the premise of like what's in my bag. Like, you will never catch me out here lacking. If you do, I just don't care. But this is where I keep all this stuff, all my makeup stuff. We got the headphones and the charger. I keep my fast charger on me. I'm always on my phone, and I'm always listening to music. I can't do anything without my headphones. I take the train everywhere, so like I have to block everything out to be able to like get where I'm going. Then next most important thing, like all my weed stuff. Obviously, very important.
Can't leave that at home.
Yeah, I can't do that.
What's gonna happen.
You never know, but you gotta have like 3 different types of papers. My Blazies, you could see those are like the bigger pink ones I have. But yeah, the Blazies Susans, the tips, pink tips.
Yes.
It's all girly. And this is like, I use this as my stuffer, but it's a sci-fi fantasy pen, and it matches all my pink weed stuff. So it's perfect. My Smell Good.
You wanna like
show them? Yeah, I'm just like showing you, but I'm not showing them. It's like my grinder, my papers, my little weed bag. Yeah, this is the pen I was talking about, a little sci-fi fantasy pen. It's pretty cute. There's that stuff. That's like the most important. Everything. Literally, but it's cute. My Smell Good stuff. It's like peppermint oil I put in my hair, but I'll put it in my hair and then put the rest like on my body. And then one of my coworkers gave me this like CBD oil, but it's like lavender, so it smells really good. So I just kind of like, and then if I need to like do a spot or something, it's there.
Wow, you're telling us your secrets.
Literally, yeah, I know, it's crazy. Gum, another Smell Good thing. Got like a little nail file. You never know if something, you know.
Yeah, bored on the train or somewhere.
Ibuprofen, gotta have that, you know. My Demos punch card, because I'm always going to Demos when I'm working at Supreme. Mac and cheese pizza, you have to try it if you haven't.
I tried that one. So good.
So good.
I like the chicken barbecue too.
Yes, they have like a chicken bacon barbecue ranch.
Do they know you there already?
They're like, yeah. Oh, nice. I'm there like every day. I swear to God. Like, I got addicted. I'm hooked on the mac and cheese pizza.
Do they visit you at Supreme too?
Not yet, but they keep saying they're going to. Okay, but, you know, Supreme is like, I don't blame people for not doing it. But I always got to have extra earrings because I never know if I want to switch them out.
They also always get lost, so you gotta have extra different types of hoops. And
exactly. Get your earrings from the beauty supply store. Don't buy expensive earrings, because then you can just go buy more. Yeah. And then if you lose them, it doesn't matter.
That's your spot, right? Beauty supply.
The beauty supply. I'm always at the beauty supply store. I get my check. I'm at the beauty supply store. I think the last thing I have in here is just like some Emporium coins from the bar. So I do Emporium too. Super fun place to drink and play games with your friends after work. But that's pretty much everything I have. It's a lot, but it's like not at the same time.
And it all fits in there.
And it all fits in this little Supreme mesh bag. So slide and, you know,
when did that recently come out?
Yeah, this was like a drop or two ago, I think. And they've got little ones. They've got big tote bags. So if you're girl, like, you know, if you like cheetah print,
cute.
Go get your stuff.
Cute.
Yeah.
So tell us where, like, geographically introduce yourself, because I know that you're from Champaign. Yeah. But if you want to give us a little bit more of an insight, to be honest, I'm not too familiar with Champaign. Like, I would just know that U of I is there, and I've only been around that campus. But yeah, if you want to share.
I got you. Yeah. So I'm born and raised in Champaign, Illinois. It's 2 hours south of Chicago. Like, it's mostly known for the University of Illinois because UIUC, University of Illinois Chicago, is here. So even if people don't know Champaign, they know of like the original University of Illinois because UIUC is an extension of that. What else? Yeah, my dad's from Champaign. My mom's from Detroit. But yeah, I grew up there, born and raised. It's a twin city, so it's like Champaign-Urbana. And I was born and raised in Champaign, not Urbana. But like, there's like 3 high schools, like 2 middle schools.
You were born in Champaign and not Urbana, correct? Okay, good. So I said it right. I said you're from Champaign. Okay.
Yep. Well, it's like, it's so silly because it's Champaign, Urbana. Yeah. Like, it's mixed together, but living in Champaign, there's a big discrepancy between like if you live in Urbana and if you live in Champaign.
So when people ask you where you're from, do you say Champaign, Urbana?
No, I say Champaign. Okay. Yeah. Because like, you don't even think about, like, Urbana's like 20 minutes 20 minutes from where I lived in Champaign, and you have to like get on the highway kind of to get there, or you like could take the back roads, but it takes longer. Yeah. So for us, like in such a small town like that, that's considered like a whole different place, even though geographically they're put together. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, like we have Urbana High School and Champaign Central High School. There's another high school in Champaign too, but it's usually like Central and Centennial, which are the 2 high schools in Champaign, versus Urbana. Like that's kind of like the rivalry. And then Champaign and Centennial have their own rivalry because it's the 2 Champaign schools. But yeah, it's so separated.
Since we're in the topic of Champaign, I remember, I don't know who told me, but I remember, I think you probably mentioned it or someone mentioned it, that just getting around Champaign in that area, like taking an Uber is so expensive. Yeah. So how was that like commute experience or like moving around your town different, and how did that kind of like like how was that change when you came out to Chicago?
Yeah.
Seeing that you live right by the red line, like people, you don't have to drive anywhere here. Like it's a big change.
It's a huge change, and it's one of the biggest reasons, like the catalyst as to why I moved to Chicago. Because I mean, growing up in Champaign, there's like school buses, but like the buses, like the I think in Champaign they're called MTA. I can't even remember, but like CTA buses. I think it's MTA in Champaign. They don't go everywhere. So like where I lived at, the bus wouldn't come pick me up. So I was like lucky enough that my grandparents would drive me to school most of the times, or drive me to the things that I needed to do when I was younger. By the time I was like kind of taking care of myself, like 16, 17, I was like, I had to Uber everywhere because the bus just wasn't picking me up where I was at. And in Champaign, like if you're walking on the sidewalk, you're the only person walking on the sidewalk for like a 2-mile radius, and everyone knows who you are. So it's like, you don't really want to do that if you don't have to. But yeah, it's like Ubers and Lyfts are expensive in general, but I was, at the time before I moved to Chicago, I was working 2 jobs. So they'd be like $10 one way. So I was spending like $40 a day on Ubers getting to both my jobs, like there and back, which was ridiculous.
$40 to get there.
In total. Yeah. So it's like $10 there, $10 back, $10 there, $10 back. And like, that's just going to work. That's not going, like, that's no extracurriculars because it's the same amount of money to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when I was thinking about coming to Chicago, that was the biggest thing, is that I didn't have to get a car. Because in Champaign, it's like, if you want to continue to be here and like survive, you kind of have to get a vehicle. Like I can go to Chicago, not have to get a car, get right by the train, not spend a bunch of money on where I need to go, like, and it works out perfectly. I love it. Like I love the public transportation, like just being able to be like another body on the train or on the bus, wherever. I love it. 'Cause
and
like,
it's just so common. Everybody does it.
Everyone does it. There's no like shame or guilt or like, and there never should be anyway, but where I'm from, like people place that on you for sure. So it's like, you know, it's nice to just like live and just be able to like be a normal person on the street, you know.
So what sort of spark, I mean, you said like transportation, but I'm trying to think, what sort of made you decide like, yes, I'm moving to Chicago, F this town, like I'm going. And how was that process for you? Because I think you're really brave to move out here by yourself and just be dedicated with your goals and like know your purpose for being here. What sort of sparked that decision?
Yeah, I mean, it's an agglomeration of a lot of different things. So like growing up in Champaign, my thing was like, and I'll kind of like backtrack a little bit from like Champaign in general and like how I got to skating and like stuff like that, because I played soccer my whole life. I played soccer for like 15 years, travel, school, like summer ID camps. Like I never had like an off season for a good like 15, 16 years playing soccer since I was 5.
What position did you play?
Forward. I was a striker.
Scoring those goals.
Scoring the goals. Yep, that was me. And my dad, when he was like 17, I think a junior in high school, he went to Chicago and lived there and had my older brother. My brother lives in Elgin, suburb in Chicago. And he had my brother. You know, things happened. He ended up moving back to Champaign and had me, and then like wasn't able to go back to Chicago. So like it was always kind of in the background of like, you know, Chicago and playing soccer and travel soccer. We were coming to Schaumburg and Bolingbrook and like I was in the suburbs a lot. Like just playing soccer. I didn't do anything else. My grandparents were the ones that took me everywhere. So it wasn't like, hey, like let's go play soccer and then let's go to the mall and let's like, they were too old to want to kind of do stuff like that. So it was like hotel, soccer, back home. We never came to the city. Like I didn't have a gist of Chicago at all, but like I said, it was always kind of in the background. And then when I found skateboarding in 2020, which when I graduated, we were taking more trips to the city just to skate. Like I'd never been to Grant Park. I'd never been downtown before. And so that was like my first time when I was like 18, kind of seeing what the city was like. And then meeting people. There were some people that were from Chicago that lived in the Champaign area that skated my local. So then I kind of had like a direct connect to the city then. So when we did come to the city, we'd hang out with them. And that got me more into the skate scene. Being at Grant for that first time was when I met Marlene, actually. And that was like before I knew anybody else. Like we really just met organically at the park. Like
at Grant?
Girl at the skate park. It was.
Marlene.
She's never at the park. Isn't that crazy? No, literally, like I me and my ex were just in Chicago meeting up with like some homies, and like my first time at Grant, she came up to me and we just like exchanged socials. And yeah, that's kind of, that was probably a year before I moved. Kept skating in Champaign, kept, you know, like building my connections and networking over social media just by like watching people's clips, being hyped on what people were doing. And then I was working at a Texas Roadhouse in Champaign, and I think I got an apartment in Champaign 2021, and like those little baby steps worked. And also my best friend moved to Japan by herself, so she skateboarded too. So it's kind of just like a lot of different things. It's just like, all right, like I'm skating, there's skating in Chicago, like my friend can go to freaking Japan and live by herself, like I can definitely do that. Like this job's paying me pretty well, I'm making enough money that I can obviously like have my own apartment, so why couldn't I know it's gonna be more expensive, but I'll work for it, you know, like. And then I think after COVID, after like protesting all 2020, my dad was sick during that time too, I was just like, I'm over it. There's nothing left for me here. Also, I think I'd reached a point in my skating too where I'm like, I'm just not being pushed anymore. And I don't think that if I stay any longer, nothing's gonna just benefit me. Like I'm not gonna get any more out of this town. I ended up meeting someone over Instagram that skateboarded as well through like mutual friends in Champaign, and that's who I moved in with. Actually, I moved here by myself. It was my own lease, like my own apartment, but it's the guy I was talking to at the time that I was living with. So he was a huge help, and that's a big thing too. Like I know a lot of people are like, you did it all by yourself. I did, but like I definitely had people to help me and people in my corner, and like that's a big thing too. I don't want to, you know, miss out on. But yeah, that it was a lot of things. But
and so you touched up on, you know, you getting interested in skateboarding, but share the story of like how it was that you were introduced to a board. Like, who did this involve? Like, what your friends that you were hanging out with, or how was kind of skateboarding in your radar?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, it literally wasn't at all. Like, it's crazy to think about, because in the city now, you'll see a skater every 10 minutes. You know, someone skating on the street. I never saw anybody skateboarding on the street in Champaign, ever. The only people I knew that skated were my brother would come from Elgin to visit on holidays, and I knew him and his friends skateboarded, but I never, like, saw them actually doing it. And we're 6 years apart, so I'm, like, the annoying little sister that's like, can I come with? And they're like, you know, skater boys in their teens are like, no, like, can't come around us. So there's a picture of me with a Bratz skateboard that I posted the other day.
Yeah, I saw that.
Crazy, because I remember that I had that, but I don't really remember riding it a lot. I always used to roller skate a lot. The only place that we had in Champaign to have fun at was like the movie theater and the roller rink. So every weekend, everybody was at the roller skating rink. So I think that attributes a lot to why I'm so comfortable on a board, because I don't really remember riding boards, but I was always on wheels. Yeah. I was riding my scooter. I was like on my roller skates a lot, at home, at the roller rink. But yeah, that was when I was like little, because from like 11 to 18, it was like strictly soccer and school. I wasn't doing anything else. And then when I graduated, I met my ex, and when we first started dating, like he didn't bring me to the skate park or like tell me he skateboarded either for a minute. And then he was like, there's this competition like at Spalding skate park, like I'm gonna go because I want to skate in it. And I'm like, all right, cool, like I'll bring my books. I was really into like tarot and witchcraft. I still am, but at the time I was really getting into it. I'll bring my books and I'll just sit and I'll watch you. And he did a tray flip off this fun box. And mind you, like watching everyone was cool or whatever, but like sitting there watching him do that, I remember in the moment I'm like, holy shit, like that's magic. Like what the fuck, like what? Like sitting there watching him grind for it. Like I remember the time passed for him to do the trick in the competition, and everyone was like, keep going, like do it again, like we don't care. And I'm like, whoa, like the energy, the community, like the fact that everyone was just so like hyped off what they were doing, and he landed on his homies. Like I have the videos still, like I go back and watch it sometimes because I'm like, that moment was like when I fell in love with it, literally. Like I'll never forget that ever. And from then on, I'm like, I can do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, why am I just sitting here? Like, it's all the same muscles and as soccer and all the same things. So I remember I went home. My brother still had a board in our basement that he left, and I just snatched it up. And I think it was what was it? There's a brand in the suburbs that it was, but I don't want to say it and it be wrong. But use his, it's old as hell, and I skated that, and me and my ex would just go to the parking garages, or from then on I just was always on my board, and it became like a thing for me to deal with all the crazy shit that was happening. It was like, I'm just gonna learn this trick and stay at the skate park for 6 hours today and like whatever. When I started, I was still kind of playing soccer in college and stuff too, but once that stopped, it was just full force. Like me and him we're together at the hip all the time, and all we wanted to do was skate. So for a good 2 years, like, that's all we did. Yeah.
And what, do you still play soccer, or what kind of like made you end your soccer years, or like did you also feel like you hit a plateau with soccer as well?
Soccer was a thing for me that if I wanted to, and if I really loved soccer, I could have gone really far in it. I feel like it took me a long time to be able to even like express this about myself, because I, one, didn't believe it, and I, two, thought people would make me feel bad for saying it out loud. But I truly believe like I could pick up anything and be really successful in it, just because I give 110% into whatever I do.
Yourself, and, know that you can accomplish it.
And like that's just stuff that my parents always taught me. Like I didn't have a great childhood or great relationships with my parents either, but they saw it in me because they saw it in themselves. You know, like you can do anything you put your mind to. And honestly, anyone can.
It just takes work.
Exactly, and you have to love it too. And I was good at soccer, and I enjoyed it because I was good at it because I was doing it for so long. But I never loved it, especially now that I know the way I love skateboarding. I just knew that I didn't fit in with all the white girls. Like I didn't have the money that they thought I did. Like my grandma was still working like 2 jobs after like going to college, having like a retirement plan to pay for me to go through soccer, because that was like the plan. I was supposed to go D1 and make my money, and like that's what was gonna happen. So I never felt right. I felt right on the field because I was giving my all, and I'd score the goals, and it'd feel good for me, I guess, a little bit, but I was still like the only black girl on the field. Like I kind of had to reach these expectations with people that I didn't feel like I could really meet. I always felt like I was letting people down. I just didn't fit in the box that they wanted me to. Even especially like going to college. Like I went to so many ID camps and like summer camps where I had an idea of like, you'd stay in the dorms for a week. And I did that a lot. So I kind of already knew what the expectations were and how you had to act and how you had to like appease to the coaches and to the community and the college. And I knew from a very young age that wasn't gonna work, but I kind of had to keep playing the part until I figured out what else I was gonna do. And soccer did have like just a plateau within myself of just like, I just didn't want to do it anymore. Like, I remember just being like, I'm going to, because why not? And if I have to, I'll go to college and I'll play, but I really did not want to. And then some stuff happened with like, just racism is very prevalent where I'm from. And white people in my town are allotted to have mistakes, and a lot of black people aren't. And as a teenager, I made a lot of mistakes, but a lot fewer than my peers did. But the mistakes I did make were held against me in a way that I couldn't really recover from them, mentally, spiritually, physically. And that was kind of the catalyst as to why I had to put soccer down. I would have kept really like trying to play that part, I think, if it wouldn't have been so like a slap in the face of like, we don't care about you or all the work you've put in or how good you are because you made this mistake, and that's because of this, because there were kids around me that were doing the same things or like involved in the same sort of things, and it wasn't, the double standards were really fucking crazy. I remember sitting at a banquet and waiting for like my name to be called for an award that was supposed to be given to me, and it wasn't, and I went to my coach afterwards and like, why didn't this happen? And they're like, well, the coaches made a group chat about you. What? And they ranked you last out of 31 people, where I was third in goal scoring, all area first team, all sectional first team, all conference first team as a freshman and a sophomore, and the varsity MVP, and third in goal scoring in the area, like not even just in Champaign. So to rank me last, and there were girls in that list that I played against like in tournaments or like in club that obviously weren't as good as I was. And he told me straight up, he's like, they made a group chat about you, and because of what happened, that's why they ranked you last. And so my dad told me, he's like, that day I saw your heartbreak, because I didn't really care about soccer. It was just like I put so much into this, like so much work into this, and like it doesn't matter because this one thing, like it's crazy. Grown men trying to like ruin my future, like actually. So that was when I kind of was like, And then COVID happened, and I was gonna go. I still had D1 offers. I just didn't want to leave my dad at the time.
Yeah.
So I had a full ride to the community college in Champaign, and I played there for like maybe a week or two. Things got weird with the coach. I didn't want to really do it anymore, and I was skating too during all that, and I was just like, fuck it. I dropped out, made sure my dad was okay, and I just skated the entire time. But that's why skateboarding saved my life, because it was like, I can be myself and do this. I don't have to appease to a coach or score these goals or, can't smoke weed or do what I want to do. I know those things are like, relative to everybody else, but at those times, those were the things keeping me alive. So it's like, if I can't do this, like, there needs to be other things in place, and people weren't doing that for me. So I had to like compensate for that. So yeah, skateboarding gave me the opportunity to like say fuck all that never mattered in the first place anyway, and I knew that, and I was like trying so hard to be something I could never really be, and now I can like build myself into who I see myself as. So it was a really important thing that happened.
That's such a powerful story. I don't know what to say. Like, thank you for being vulnerable and just honest, and I really value your story, and so I wanted you to share it like as best as possible. But we are happy to have you here in Chicago.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, I think that I always told myself, because things were so bad when I was younger, that it's like it only goes up from here, and the first year in Chicago was hard, of course. Like, I didn't know anybody for real. I couldn't skate for like 6 months because I moved in the winter. So I moved in November of 2021. So I didn't like know really what to do, but I'd skate out Wilson at night by myself, and like that's how people kind of started knowing who I was. And from then on, things have just I just kept doing me, I just wanted to skate. That's all I really wanted to do, and like be on my own and not have to have all those extra Champaign things lingering over me. And it's paid off. I'm very blessed and grateful to be where I'm at right now.
So when you moved out here, because when you moved out here, you weren't working at Supreme yet.
No, I wasn't.
You were working at the Gordon Ramsay restaurant, right?
Well, actually, I had 2 different jobs before that. I was working at the X-Pot and Mariano's downtown, because I found those jobs on Indeed in Champaign. And I would come on the train, and I had those interviews before I moved out here. But those ended very quickly, just based off like it wasn't a good fit. I found the Gordon Ramsay thing on Indeed, walking to my other job. They had like open interviews. You just walked into the hotel and they would interview you type shit. And I mean, I had a decent resume at the time, like working at the Texas Roadhouse in Champaign, and they liked me. So I started there. I opened that restaurant. I was like the first host trainer there. And then I moved up to key manager by the end of it. And I was also serving at Fat Cat. So I was like working 2 jobs, like doing a lot. But I loved working in the food industry. I really enjoyed it. It felt like a exchange. It felt like transactional,
I think we talked about it before when we went to go to Skate Street. Like, you're good at just conversating with people and chatting. And so the prior jobs that you've had allow you to be yourself and just like, develop good social skills and stuff.
100%. And it's genuine. Like, people can tell when like you really just don't give a fuck. Like, and of course people are mean, like in food or whatever, but like that's where you're like, you're still paying me, but the people that do enjoy it, they're going to compensate for that type of stuff. So, I enjoyed that. But then Supreme happened, which was super crazy.
Do you want to share about that?
Yeah, dude. Like, I never thought in a million years someone would have told me that before I moved. I would have been like, you're lying. You're actually lying. Because like I said, skateboarding was never something that's on my radar. I'm never going to sit here and be like, like core to my bones. Like, I've been skating for 2 years. Like, I've just done a lot of research and I really love it. So I've like dived full head deep into it. But even when it came to Supreme, like, I didn't know much about that culture when they found me. Basically what happened was David Ruda, my manager, he found me on Instagram, and he had been following me for a while, but same thing, like his Instagram isn't his name and he doesn't have it in his Instagram, and all his pictures are just scans of skateboarding.
Second, and then press it again.
Go ahead.
Okay.
All good?
So
Okay,
Dave,
cool. Oh yeah, Dave, he Yeah, he'd been like liking my clips and like hearting like some of my skate stuff like on my story, but I still didn't know who he was. And one day I got a DM. This is like maybe 2 weeks after I got promoted at Gordon Ramsay Burger around October 2022. And he's like, hey, like, I know you don't know who I am, but I may have a job skateboarding related. And I'm like, and I literally have like
an Instagram DM.
Yeah, like I have like notebooks of me like writing like I want a job relating to skateboarding. Like like
you know
actually,
the power of manifestation.
Yeah, you know.
I know.
Like literally wrote it, like praying on it. Like even at Gordon Ramsay at the host stand, they had these like iPads, and I would just sit and like watch Thrasher, like be on Thrasher website all day just watching skate videos. And I'd be like, damn, like I'm sitting here watching these skate. Like I would just love to actually work in a shop. I see girls on Instagram, they work in shops, and like their progression is crazy. Like I was really, really thinking about it, so it's crazy that he actually messaged me. But I was like, I know you don't know who I am, but, you know, and I'm like, yeah, I love that. He's like, want to meet up sometime? We met up, had a little talk, hit it off the bat. Like, I love Dave. Like, honestly, I have so much respect for that man. Like, and he's a lot of the reason why I have the opportunities that I do right now. And then I had a second interview with some of the higher-ups, Jeff Pang and Todd Jordan. And I was the last person that was hired there. I started after they opened the store. But yeah, it happened super fast. There wasn't a lot of like information that like was given to me during it. So it was like all blind faith of just being like, okay, I think this feels right and this is where I should be, and I'm just gonna do it. And I'm so glad that I did. It's been great. Yeah.
And how is the environment working with everybody there? Because everybody there skates.
Yeah.
I always see y'all's picture. Y'all's look like you're having a great time, like skating after work. Just like, how is that environment being around people who love the same sport that you do and live and breathe it and like are dedicated and like are supportive?
Yeah.
How has that environment been treating you? Yeah.
Nothing.
What do you love about it? Nothing
compares to it. Like honestly, like nothing compares. Just like just being with the homies. Like that's the best shit ever. I will say it took me a while to feel that way, just because of the imposter syndrome. Like just not being here for that long, not skating for that long, and I'm around like OG Chicago legends. Like even Marlene is a legend in the skate scene, and like me working with her, like from when I told you, like I was just meeting at Grant randomly, like. It's crazy to think that we're both there now working together. But it was really hard for me to wrap my head around it, because I think I expected a lot more out of myself that I really wasn't physically or like mentally possible at the time. I just had to grow up to like find my wings, I guess, and like become comfortable. But now that I've gotten there, it's like, it's everything has its ups and downs, and Supreme is still a job. Like, at the end of the day, it's not all peaches and rainbows, but what gets us through is each other. Like, we're a family, and having all these people around me that support what I do and they love it, and like I can ask them questions and I can ask them advice, and they're not holding it against me or making me feel weird. And like, it's not some random guy at the skate park that I'm like, hey, like I'm trying to do this, like what do you think? Like, it's someone that actually cares about my well-being and like seeing me succeed. And I like, again, like shout out to fucking Dave, bro. Like, to be so engrossed in the scene that you can build a team like this, like it still doesn't make sense to me how he got all of us there at one time and how well everyone meshes. Like, people come to the store every day and they're like, all the people at the other stores are so mean, but like you guys are so happy and the vibes are so good in here and you guys are so nice. And like, I think that's because each of us individually are those type of people, and then put together, like it's just, you can't help but laugh and giggle and talk shit and fucking, it's just such a good place to be in, bro.
He curated the perfect team.
He did. He really did.
Energy.
And I have to mention too, like for it to be a majority team of color too is so important, especially in Chicago. Like giving us those opportunities, like especially someone like me that just came to Chicago, that just started skating in general. Like, he didn't have to do that, and like putting his faith and his trust in me, like that's another reason why I'm like so adamant about the things that I do, because it's not just me anymore. Like, I got a team behind me of people that believe in me that I gotta push forward for. So
it's good to have like a backing, like someone that just validates you and supports you and knows the work that you put in.
Sees your potential. It's because I didn't even see it myself when he first hired me. Now it's something I'm starting to like know. The fog is kind of clearing, but like, I still have days where I'm like, what the fuck am I right now? Like, what's going on. Yeah, for sure.
So before Supreme, because I thought I was under the impression that you skated or were like sponsored by Sapient.
Yeah.
You want to share a little bit about that?
Of course,
I also seen you on some of the videos that Will has dropped. So I'm like, oh, like Nay skating.
Dude, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I would have remembered at some point, but I'm so glad you brought it up now. Man, Sapient, like the things I could say, I could go on forever about that shit. But same thing, like I live like 5 minutes from Wilson. I got really lucky when I was looking for apartments here. I was like, I just need somewhere close to the train and somewhere I can skate. And I'm 5 minutes from Wilson, 5 minutes from the Argyle stop. So me and Marlene were at the skate park actually one night from being out. I think they came to my job and then forced me to come outside and skate. It was Marlene, Dez, and Marlena. And they were like, come on, you're going right now. We're going to Wilson. Popped out, and that's when I met Will for the first time. And Will is the guy who runs who runs Sapient, and he makes all those boards by hand in that warehouse. And the same thing like Dave, like I guess just seeing the potential in me, or like based off connections, we connected really well when I first met him. And he was like, yeah, if you need boards, let me know. I got you. Like, that's really what it was. It took us a long time. I think I was afraid to even ask, to be like, so like, is this like a sponsor? Like, so what is it? Because I know they're like an up and coming thing. Sapiens only kind of been around for, I would say 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a fact or not, but I think it's,
2 years,
I think that's right. Yeah. So I think in me and Will's case, it was kind of an exchange as well. Like he kind of saw I had a following, and I think he's making boards, and I didn't know anyone else. I'm not trying to, buy boards if I don't have to, and they're great boards that he puts all his love and effort into. So, we had that sort of relationship, and then it got over the summer that year was when like Justin, a filmer for Sapient, he lives in Florida, but he comes to the because of Chicago every now and then, and filmed us. So that was like my first time being at the warehouse. My first time being filmed on an actual camera was with Sapient and Will and Marlene and Alex. A lot of those people.
It was that video where they had the couch, right?
That was a different time.
Okay.
But that is at the warehouse.
That's at the warehouse.
Yeah, the warehouse has the ramp, 6-foot ramp.
I saw your hair and I was like, that's
and
nice.
It is, yeah. So like we actually like took that couch from the bottom part and put it up there. Like all 6 of us. We moved it up on top of the coping, and that was Chris that did I think he did a blunt on it. It was crazy, insane. But yeah, Will is just the type of guy that he always made sure I was involved in what he had going on. And like I can't tell you why, I can't read his mind, but I can only assume that it's just because he fucked with me, and he saw like the potential and like wanted me to be around, and I like can only thank him so much for that, because me not knowing anyone as well and like having a hard time kind of finding where I fit, I could always go back to Will and go back to Sapient and be like, even with the other people that are wrapped around in that, I didn't know them very well, but he was always a safe space for me, especially when I was out here in the beginning. So, and now really just a mentor, because I've moved on from getting boards from them, like officially being sponsored by Sapient, because I'm on some other things right now, but Will has always been completely supportive of that and has always made sure to like make it clear that that's always home if I want it to be. I can always, we'll always have that relationship. So nice. I love Will. Like,
Will's great.
We love Will. Like where Will
great.
Stands over here. Like if you don't love Will, something is wrong with you. Like
He's a nice guy.
And I'm also gonna say, so proud of him for the work he's been doing in the community with these Wilson Wednesdays. Like even from the progression from last year to now, like it is such a staple in our community, and I don't think people understand how much work gets put into that, and that it's not a one-man job, but there's one man kind of behind everything. Like that is his brand, and he makes all those boards. He is in that warehouse like grinding it out, and like he deserves all his flowers, and I'm gonna give them to him. So
they had that event last week at my local, and they gave out free food. Like everybody wants to come out and get some food, like have a good time,
even if you're not skating.
It's just a great time,
dude. They're always giving.
Speaking of that one event, I saw you there, and you were like, I got injured, I can't skate.
Yeah, bro.
I think I saw that clip where you got injured, but I didn't know you got injured. So when you told me about that, I was like, what? How bad is it? Like, how are you feeling now? Do you want to talk about what trick you were trying? And
of course. That was a huge thing, like this injury or
was
whatever.
Was that in Chicago?
No, it was in Detroit.
Okay,
so, like,
yeah. Oh, yeah, you went out to... You
it's
did
a
tell me you went out to
huge
Detroit.
part of my skate journey right now.
Who'd you go to Detroit with?
Yeah, so I was invited on the trip. I'm trying to think like how to start it off with, because it's a big, I don't know, it's so many things happen, but so the guy who's managing Uprise right now, his name's Larry Braz. Him and another guy from Detroit, I think he runs Olympia Skate Shop. They have a brand called Plateau Skateboards, and they're fairly new as well, kind of the same thing like Sapient. And one of my coworkers, Roland and Oliver, had been like riding with them, like going on some trips with them. They went to Milwaukee maybe a week or two before we went to Detroit. And yeah, Dave asked me like the day before, he's like, "Hey, Nay, like, you want to come to Detroit tomorrow? Like, are you down?" And I'm like, duh. Like, what do you mean? Like, my favorite movie, Street Dreams. Like, this is like my Street Dreams moment. Yeah. I was so excited. Like, got up hella early, went with the guys. Like, I was just so excited to be a part. Like, there's just no one that looks like me anywhere in these scenes a lot of the time. So, like, whether I feel uncomfortable or not, I think it's just important for me to be there for, like, the next generation of people, or the next, black girl that wants to, like, be on a skateboard. Like, it's just super sick. So I'm like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. And my mom's also from Detroit. So it was, like, a full circle moment for me. Like, wow, like, yeah, let's do it. So we went, Larry gave me a board, and we were at Bishop DIY, which I found out is like only 10 minutes away from my great grandma's house, which I used to roller skate in front of all the time, which is crazy. But we were at Bishop DIY, beautiful park. I loved it. We had so much fun there. And that's why I was doing that kickflip thing off. It was like a bank to like really long two-stair, and Roland and this other gentleman, I think his name's Bren. Yeah, Roland and Bren were skating it, doing like some crazy flip tricks off of it. And I'm like, I wonder if I can ollie that. And I was like, yeah, okay, let's try it. Ollied it. I was like, all right, that was easy. I was like, I wonder if I can kickflip this. I told Roland, I was like, maybe I can kickflip that. And like, he's like, hell yeah, try it. I'm like, all right, cool, bet. So I tried it a few times. I was clearing it, but I wasn't confident enough to really get on it all the way. And I sat down for a little bit. I was like, yeah, I'm over it. Like, I'm happy about the ollie, maybe next time. And Dave's like, no, I'll get the camera out. Come on, you're doing it. And I'm like, all right, bet. Took me like a decent amount of tries, but once I got it, bro, it was heavenly. And the cosign from all the guys was just like, I'll never forget it. I remember Braz looked at that video. He's like, you couldn't do that any better than you did it. And I was like, dang, yes. Like, it felt so good just to like do my thing and like have people recognize it. And like there's also some girl skaters there as well that I've recently connected with. Lil Shove from Detroit, she's doing her thing out there. She was there. Andrea, she's from Philly, she was there as well. These girls are shredding right now. And like being around them, being around the guys, like just being pushed in general to like push myself. It was such a good environment out there. So we went there, but then we went to Hart Plaza, which is in downtown Detroit. And that's where I ended up getting broke off at. We were all gassed from the DIY. We really all should have just kind of chilled. But we were hyped. We were just hyped to be there, especially me. Like, I haven't seen these spots before. Like, they seem
Was that your first time
skateable.
Going to Detroit?
Yeah, well, going to Detroit to skate.
Yeah. Because I've been to Detroit just for fun, but not to skate.
Not to skate. Yeah. And, like, they have some cool ass shit.
Okay. Yeah,
so
I've seen videos of, like, just people around here going out there.
Yeah, bro. I'm like, I gotta make the most out of this, like, for sure. So I remember there's another girl named Kate. She was there as well. She's she was skating with Lil Shove and Andrea as well. And I remember she said that she wanted to try to like boneless off of this big ledge. And I was like, bet, like I'll ollie it with you. And that ollie turned into, or I'll ollie this gap. And then that ollie the gap turned into, okay, I'll 50 the ledge and try to drop off of it. It's like this high, like it's a gap this big. So you ride on and then you have to ollie onto the ledge and drop off. And I was locking in every time, which surprised me. You've seen me do my 50s. Like I struggle with them. I don't know what. I do know, but I won't even get into that. But I struggle with them. But I was locking in every time. And it was like just a little push off I had to do. And like Larry's filming me and like the girls are watching me and everyone's like super hype on it. I was getting really a lot closer than I thought I was going to get. And then like just one time I just went up. The board didn't even like, it did this. It didn't even get up on top of it. And my feet went like this. My left foot slipped. I tried to catch myself. So I tried to go like doom. And my slipped. Right out, my body went straight back, and I fell straight on my back, like straight right here, full weight, just like I remember being like in the air, just like there's no way I was saving myself. Like I was dead. I remember thinking in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna be paralyzed after this. Like I'm like, this is not good. Like I don't think I've ever really been in a position from that big and that high that I haven't been able to like catch my feet. Yourself. You know what I'm saying? I was just helpless in that moment. Luckily though, I got up right after, and I think that was another form of manifesting, because I was just like, you're good, get up, you're fine. This is not happening right now. You're gonna be okay. Cool, because it should have been worse, but it really is just like my groin, like this whole area right here is where I feel pain in. Groins just take forever to heal. So like I can walk, I can like push, I can do some ollies right now, but like anything that really requires me like fully extending my leg or like that's gonna take probably another like 2 weeks.
So when you fell, and like I'm trying to think, because when I was out in Mexico City, a lot of the girls were like telling me that they don't get their ankles like injured, they don't roll anything because they know how to catch their body, or like they know how to like throw their body so that their feet are fine. Did you just lose balance, or did you throw yourself and like you just didn't calculate the height? Like I'm trying to think, like how did, like slow motion, were you like, okay, this happened because of A, B, and C?
Yes, I did, because being like an athlete in general, like, you know, I played every sport in the book before I found skateboarding, but like I've always been able to just like catch myself, like you know, and I thought I was great at falling. People told me all the time, like you're good at falling too, like when you skateboard, which is like an important thing. After this, of course, all the guys are like, yeah, no, we got to teach you how to fall now, and I'm like, you fucking assholes, you know, like fuck you guys, I know how to fall. But that one specifically was literally just like, I can't do anything right now. Like I was like, I don't know. I remember thinking in my head, I just have to keep turning this way. Like if I can get on my side, it's completely better than falling straight back. Yeah. Because I was facing this way, and my foot, it was my right foot that slipped out, and this foot went up immediately. Yeah. So I couldn't even like, if I was like, when I was doing it before, I was catching myself on my right foot. Yeah. So once that one went up, which is like my dominant foot, I was like, all right, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but just keep going this way to try to get like on your other side, because I couldn't go this way. I think I found like a good median, because if I would have not turned and like been straight on like this, I actually would have fell straight on my tailbone and like smacked back on my head. Yeah. Luckily, because I was turned that way, that's why my groin is pulled, I think, because my leg crossed over my body when I fell. But it's like right here on my back instead of like my center tailbone, and my ponytail saved my head because I fell sideways right on it. So like, yeah, I did have like that little cat moment where I'm like, figure out the best way to fall. Although it looked horrible, that could have even been worse, because I remember being up there straight up and down being like, oh yeah, if you fall straight on your spine right now, like you're fucked. It's over. It's a wrap.
Your hair, you had me at my ponytail saved me.
It did. Ponytail saved my life. Listen.
Nay's hair saved Nay's life.
Yes, it did, because I felt it a little bit. Like when you watch the video, it looks a lot worse than it did, but it was just like a dink. Like it wouldn't even hurt at all. My head, everyone's like, is your head okay? And I'm like, yeah, my head's fine. It's my fucking groin. Like that shit hurts really bad. So, but I got up. I think honestly, like the whole day and everything could have been cool if I just would have skated and like did really well. But I think like it's kind of like when people say it's not how like what you do, it's how you react to the things that happen. Like I think me falling and then me getting back up, and like I do that internally whether there was people there anyway, just like get up, you're fine, keep moving, keep pushing. But I think them witnessing me in that moment gave everyone another level of respect for me and for in that moment too. Like that changed me internally as well as externally, because I'm like, damn, like I fucking got up. Like, damn, I got up. Yeah. And we're not going to the hospital, and we're not gonna make this a big deal. We're gonna sit here and everyone's gonna keep skating, and we'll go home and I'll be fine. Like that was really my thought process. And I think that the people around me were like really impressed by that. And I think that is something that's gonna follow in terms of my character of just like, yeah, she eats shit and she tries hard, but she gets back up. You know, and like that is a thing that I'm like, yeah, that is me. But that moment in itself encapsulated that for me, and something I'll never forget. So it's like even when I have been having moments recently where things kind of get tough, I'm like, get back up. You know, people are gonna respect you for getting back up and keep doing it. So It was great. I wouldn't trade. I don't regret anything. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I think everything was meant to happen the way it did.
Yeah.
When I went there, I'm just fucking ready to skate again, bro.
So how are you taking care of yourself? Are you doing like physical therapy, just like stretches, or?
Yeah, my own kind of version of that. Epsom salt baths, icing. Dave got me with this like CBD cream that he uses that I've been like really rubbing it in, because the groin part, it's a lot of just like massaging and making sure it's like not tight and not locking up. Stretching, of course. I'm on my feet all day every day, so I'm like, I don't have a choice whether if I really want to rest all day or not, but I think that's been helping, moving around more. The other day I pushed around a little bit, was doing like some little ollies and stuff, and it didn't hurt too bad, so I know that things are getting better.
Yeah.
I just think it'll be like another week, 2, 3, maybe, to be at like 100%, which is fine, but
it's like really important to listen to your body and just like know when to push it, what not to. I remember when I rolled my ankle, my chiropractor saw it because it got really swollen, and he saw it and he's like, ooh, yeah, like you can't be skating for like a month. And I was like, that's not gonna fucking happen.
That's not happening,
that
bro.
That is not realistic. And then I waited like 2 weeks and I skated, and every time I would ollie, like I would just feel like a crack like on my ankle, and I was like, yeah, I should wait. So I did technically wait like 3 weeks, but even after just getting back, it still hurt a little bit.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Yeah, just good to listen to your body.
That shit never goes away.
Never.
Honestly,
it honestly does.
I did the same shit that time I told you, the first time I went to the Sapient warehouse. Actually, I rolled my ankle on the ramp. I like went to like save myself and just completely fucking And that was like,
feel it? Did you hear the?
I didn't hear it, but I definitely, it went all the way over. But I was so geeked on just like being there and like being a part. We were about to go film afterwards. We're about to go skate street. I kept skating all day, and then I went to the club that night with my brace on. I wore these like fat ass platform boots with my brace sticking out.
This is my life.
And I'm like, listen, I don't care, like. And I kept skating because Justin, like the filmer I was looking at, lives in Florida. He was only here for that summer, so I'm like, damn, like I have to keep skating, and I pay for it every single day. I keep rolling my ankles back. Like this one is still not like, I can't pull it like that, and that hurts like really bad. So like there's some stuff that just is always gonna be like that. But that's why with this time, it's really been exactly a year since I did that. And the same sort of thing, like you're getting put on, you want to keep going, you want to push yourself because you have people, in your corner and watching you, and you want to perform. But I would rather wait and perform at 100% than keep going and perform at 60.
Yeah.
Learning, growing up and shit, bro.
When to push and when not to.
Yeah.
So I mean, I had here your dancing videos. We don't have to dive into that. I just want to say I love your dancing videos. Like, it makes my day. Yeah. And then I'm like, man, I need to start like dancing more, just like for fun, like going to the train, have a little dance, like shake it off.
You don't think I'm corny for that?
No, not at all. I don't think you're corny for that. I was like, man, I need to start moving more. Like I need to, I'm inspired.
Dude, dancing is just such a big thing in my life. Like dancing and singing. I grew up in the church with my mom, and my dad was a dancer. He's a break dancer. So like we were always stepping, and he was teaching me how to break dance. And like once Musically and like TikTok became a thing, it was like, oh, perfect. Like. What the hell? Just learn this little.
Remember, we were at Grant, and you landed your kickflip off the 2-set, and then you did all these moves, and I was like, I need to have a signature move. Like, I need to have a signature move too. Like, what the hell are we doing? Just being like, ha ha ha, yeah, like I landed this trick. Nah, dude, celebrate.
When I'm at home, I'm sweating, twerking in my mirror.
Celebrate,
like,
yes.
Dude, it's a energy release. It's a shock roll release. You know what I'm saying? Like. Move, bro. Like, just move. Dancing is so much fun. I love going out and dancing, but like dance in your crib, like stand in front of the mirror and just be like, get your fucking groove on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I think that shit's so lit. I love just moving my body, and like I used to be very insecure even when I was young about like how I looked, or like I'm just so happy that I'm at a place now where I can just be like, even if it is corny, and just not give a fuck.
I think I've seen comments of like people comparing like skateboarding to dancing too.
It is.
The way you're like dancing with a piece of wood. Yeah.
It's the same shit.
Yeah.
If I wasn't so rhythmically in tune, I wouldn't be half as good of a skateboarder as I am. And I know that for a fact. Especially transition, like when it comes to like the timing of everything and how you feel everything out.
Hips,
just
everything.
knowing where things need to be at, man, it helps 1,000%. Like skaters should all go take a dance class.
Everyone should,
they would love it. They would love it.
Help them a lot.
Literally, yes.
So we're kind of near the end.
Cool.
But tell us like what's next for you. Like if you want to share what you're trying to manifest.
Yeah.
If you want to manifest it here now.
Yeah, dude. I mean, listen. At the end of the day, like I just want to skate. I want to skate as long as I can, and which means like taking care of myself. So like right now, I'm really in a mode of just like getting my mental right. I never want to feel like I don't belong somewhere again, even if I don't have the credentials for it. I want to like convince myself that I'll get there instead of beating myself up for the things that I don't have. So I'm doing a lot of just like mental work right now to just be like a brick wall when it comes to literally anything, whether it's an injury, whether it's a person, whether it's like I just used to be so affected by everything else around me, and like I'm kind of just over that. So in terms of like me personally, that's kind of what I've been doing, especially now that I'm injured, like, and I don't have anything else to do, is just being mentally strong, physically strong, so I can keep skating for as long as possible. And then in terms of what I'm doing now, I'm getting, I don't know, kind of say, because nothing is for sure, you know. I'm not sponsored really by anybody, but I'm just saying, like, you know, the Plateau are giving me boards right now, which is super sick. I don't think that that's even like a flow thing. I think it's just like, hey, like, we're gonna give you boards, and that's cool. We'll see where that goes. Like, I'm not really tied down to anything right now. My goals for myself, nothing's written, so it's all kind of up in the air. But I just want to say I appreciate Plateau for like giving me the boards they are right now, and I'm excited to see where that relationship goes. In general, bro, I'm just like so excited to be a black girl on a skateboard.
Yes.
I think it's just so important right now.
Very important.
And just in general for me and myself, but if I ever do get to a place of like exposure where other people see that, like I remember seeing Brianna King in a Walgreens going to buy hair products and being like, you can be a black girl and a model and a skater all at one time. What the fuck? Like it blew my mind.
She's
so
beautiful.
I can only imagine what like a young girl, or if I was like 6 and I saw that, how I would have felt about it. Mm-hmm. So just like doing me, and then whatever happens in the process happens, man. I'm just happy to be here, and it's been a long road to be able to be happy to be here. I didn't even think I'd make it this far, honestly. So I appreciate you for giving me this opportunity and like letting me be here, dude. I appreciate all of it. It's super sick. I like the work you're doing too is very meaningful in the community. I hope you know, like sharing people's stories. Like I feel like we all are homies, but we don't really get a lot of the time to really share our stories with each other.
Yeah,
so
because we're so like in the moment, just trying this trick, that very now and then we get to talk about like you know things
or
that
we're
are going
busy,
on.
and then when we all hang out, we're going out, we're having a good time.
Yeah.
Like this doesn't have to be, but I'm glad that you're creating a safe space for that.
I hope to do that. Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Thank you. I appreciate you too. Give me some energy. Okay, here's some energy. Okay. Also, we just so folks know how important it is to like regulate your nervous system. We did a breathing exercise before doing this video.
We did.
Just to like recenter.
We really
and I
did.
think I'm gonna carry that every time I go skate now.
Dude, I have a book called Practicing Mindfulness, and they have it's a whole book of just like exercises to do. I'll send you some shit.
Okay, yes, send it to me. I'll send you my spiritual TikToks.
Yes.
I'm on like spiritual TikTok. And my algorithm is just like manifesting.
I'm the spiritual girly.
And I'm like,
I love all of that shit, dude. Yes.
Cool.
Sick.
So last 2 questions, or last 3 questions. Mm-hmm. What is your skate snack? Like go-to skate snack? Nay's go-to snake.
It's gonna be really funny.
Nay's go-to skate snack.
Fucking.
Okay, hold on.
Gotcha.
It's at 28, so I'm just gonna.
Okay, go ahead. I'll ask.
Alright.
Okay. Your go-to skate snack.
A twisted tea.
A twisted tea?
Listen, when I'm skating, like, I'm not even thinking about food. I'm not gonna lie. There's been so many days that I've just been like empty stomach, like don't care, like.
And still on adrenaline?
Let me go get a McChicken or like a granola bar or some like Doritos.
No, I've been there too.
And like that's usually how I am when I'm skating. Yeah. Really. But the one thing I'm always like when I'm skating is like, twisted tea would be great right now. So that's usually what you'll see me at the skate park with, is a twisted tea. It's not like a snack, but yeah.
Twisted tea.
A twisted tea, bro. Yeah, it is.
Okay. Now we know. What's your favorite park to skate in Chicago, or like favorite street spot, I guess. At the
That's
moment.
a good one. Well, I'd say I haven't really been street skating much in Chicago. Last summer I didn't street skate at all because I didn't know the spots or know anyone to take me to the spots, so I was just at the parks all the time. But PO is always super fun. Like, the ground is just so nice to skate on, and like just skating downtown in general. Yeah, that's been really exciting lately for me.
The lights at night and everything is so just magical. Yeah,
it's beautiful. Whatever time you go out, there's always something you can find to skate, always something you can do. I've seen kind of more people in terms of last year and now going out to Skate Street more and like filming, really, which has been like super exciting. Like people like Violet and Dakota and Andrea. Violet. Killing it. Violet's killing the game right now. Beep beep. Little shout out because damn. But yeah. That, and I've been loving Grant. Like, I think Grant's a great park to be at, to learn stuff. Like, I commend you because you go all the time, like, alone with people. A lot of people are like, don't fuck with Grant at all. I didn't either. It can be intimidating.
Yeah, it can be at first, but
it can be very intimidating. But stand your ground, and that park is like a great place to learn stuff. Like, it has so many like progressive things where you can do something over here, then do it over there, and then I think Grant and downtown are a great place to be at.
Okay, last question. Aside from skateboarding, what makes you truly happy in life? It could be an experience, it could be your dog, or whatever you define as like happiness, or like something that you love other than skating.
This may, I don't know how all this is gonna sound, but like dude, myself, it's been a long time fucking coming. Like, I used to hate myself.
Love
like
yourself.
You know, like everyone goes through stuff, but like from like self-harm to like mental institutions to like that shit's tough, bro. And like it's taken a lot of groundwork for me to be able to function consciously in my own body, and it feels crazy to even be doing it now because that it feels like being high. You know what I'm saying? You're like, whoa, I'm like, I can feel everything and I'm touching everything and I'm grounded. Like, it's wild. So I'll say like really what's kept me going this past year is being like, no one's gonna save you. No one's going to co-sign you. And if they do, that's cool. But make sure you're good. And I've done that. And I'm super proud of myself for doing that. And that's a lot of the reason why I have the opportunities that I have. It's not because, I'm pretty or I'm lucky or I look this way or I do these things. I think it's really, truly because I put the work into myself. So if I can help anyone with anything like that, from someone that's really experienced depression and anxiety and like suicidal thoughts, like, it's a long road, but once you get there, it's worth it. And things do get better. So,
I love that, because I think that not everybody gets to like a point where they can self-actualize. Yeah, for sure. And truly love themselves. But I think that it's also important to surround yourself with people who also love themselves, believe in you, and are willing to just be there emotionally, like mentally, and like they also want to grow, dude.
My team at Supreme, it kind of felt like bullied me into loving myself, and it wasn't even them, it was me. I bullied myself. So I'm like, oh, they got it all put together, and they seem so cool and nonchalant. They don't care when these people do this or do that, and like I used to be so pissed about it. It used to make me so mad, just so jealous of people that could emotionally regulate. I'm like, just be like that. Just learn from them. And I'd start asking them questions and like,
you learn from the masters.
From the masters, like, what do you eat, or how do you do this, or if this happens, how do you react? And like, they've taught me so much. And just people that are around me, like my family, my chosen family, my skateboarding family, like, so grateful to have them. So yeah.
Thanks for being here. Do you have any final words?
Go fucking skate.
Go skate.
Get on a fucking board and like actually do it. Go learn a trick and feel how it feels when you finally land something. Like, if you don't skate already, like, even if you do, go learn a new trick. Go push yourself. Go do something on your board. I think I'll leave with that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jaden.